This stuff costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so this bill will just set up a foundation, lay a plan that will bring some continuity, partnership with the farmers and the state to assist them in their product. That's what it's simple.
All righty, welcome back. Alabama Politics This Week. Josh Moon, David Person, and we are thrilled to have with us Representative Thomas Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how are you?
Well, and doing good. Just almost over halfway with this session, and getting ready on the campaign trail. So this quadrennium has flown by.
Nice. Yeah. You know what? I was just telling somebody that the other day, that it seems like this thing has just started. And it's been fairly enjoyable because we've got to watch all the Republicans fight themselves. So, you know, it's been one of the more enjoyable sessions that I can recall. But you know, we got you on. I saw the press conference last week that the Democrats hosted. You do this every week. I wish more people would tune in and hear a lot of the ideas that y'all have. We try our best to promote them and put them out there here and at APR as well. But you had one this past week, and it's a cost sharing bill that helps Alabama's farmers.
Yes,
I guess if you could kind of tell everybody what that bill is, what it does, and where things are with it.
Okay, let me back up a moment. The Ag Expo is in Moultrie, Georgia, where all the world farmers and agribusiness people come and they make productions and buy and sell. Well, in America, individuals do their own purchasing. Other countries buy for their farmers and producers. So what this bill does, I'm trying to put it in it'll lay a foundation that the government, the state, and the Treasury with the Department of Agriculture, along with the commissioner, and other ag interested, the Alabama A&M, Alabama University of Auburn, and Tuskegee boards will come together and work with the farmers to assist them when they are having issues of financing. It's a process that is used in other nations, but actually, Tennessee has this program. They've been using it for 20 years up there to help and assist their farmers. Now, since we've been going through some problems with tariffs and stuff, and our farmers are taking a hit here in Alabama, especially the soybean farmers, and then you got cost sharing. You have equipment that breaks down. This stuff costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so this bill will just set up a foundation, lay a plan that will bring some continuity, partnership with the farmers and the state to assist them in their product. So that's what it's simple. And I can get into details with it, but I'll be before the committee at 1:30, the General Fund Committee, as it relates to how this can be done. It's a process. You got to have your ag chairman. You got to have your school, your land grant schools on board, and you got to have the forestry and conservation. All these people that comes together to make this process work.
Right. Yeah. You know, and I read, I saw where Rick Pate, who's the current ag commissioner, has said that, you know, this was a good program that has worked in several other states. Of course, you know, whenever a Democrat introduces a good plan, I remember this with Representative Anthony Daniels' overtime tax cut. Well, how are we going to pay for it? How are we ever, if it was a Republican plan, the money would magically appear. But this is a good plan. It has worked in other states. It is something that other states are doing successfully right now. And you're right, it does lay a foundation underneath farmers. I know a lot of these guys here. I mean, those combines you see out there, none of them are paid for the most part.
No. Yes.
All of them. Yeah. I mean, they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if they break down, it is a devastating loss to a farmer and really to the whole community. So is it when you heard this about, well, we don't know about the cost and things, what has been, do you feel like you can come together and find the money to fund this?
It can happen. Let me say, we found money for everything that they want to find money for. And when I think about in prisons, you find billions of dollars for prisons, But when it comes to life living sources of helping people to be productive, farmers in Alabama, I think bankruptcy is catching up with a lot of people, and this would eliminate that if we can put the mechanism in play, and it can be done this year to start the process, and so people won't have to be so devastated. They can start knowing that there'll be help out there for them when they do access their farms again. So let me say, Jackson, I can add this. So this bill will create an Alabama Agriculture Enhancement Fund in the state treasury to use the commission to administer the program that will assist farmers that are in need financially. That's what it does.
Okay. Representative Jackson, I'm a city boy. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so I'm in very unfamiliar territory here. But I will say, my maternal grandfather, my mother's father, was a farmer. He owned a farm.
Yes.
And so farming, even though I'm a city boy, farming is a part of my lineage. So I have a sympathy for what you're talking about, even though I don't really understand a lot of the dynamics. But as I'm listening to you talk, what I'm hearing is something, and I want you to sort of talk to me like I'm in first grade or something. I'm hearing here something that is a little concerning. And let me be clear. The farming industry in Alabama, I'm all for doing whatever it takes to support it and sustain it. If only for selfish reasons, because I want to eat just like everybody else. But from what I'm hearing you say, it makes me question whether or not farming is really viable as an industry. Whether or not it is something that can truly be an entrepreneurial enterprise for an individual or for a family. Like maybe it's not really possible anymore for farming to be a sustainable enterprise. I mean, help me out with this. Is that because it needs so much government support? Help me out with that.
But this is why we need to assist the farmers, because it has lost its sustainability because of cost. Everything has gone up tremendously, and we have 4, 5, 6 generation farmers. And I was reading the article not too long ago. People lost their 15 years of generations of going, and they end up losing their farm because they couldn't afford. They got involved and invested equipment, the products they couldn't sell, and so they went under. These are not corporate farmers. These are family farmers. Many generations of landowners that carried this and made farming productive. Farmers are the number one industry in our land. $77 billion come through agriculture, and so the money is there, but we got to find a mechanism that we can assist those that want to invest in the product. Let me say this: without food, I tell my young people all the time, food does not grow in Walmart. It grows underground and it's produced and it's harvested and it's cultivated and it's brought to the market. And that's why you go and buy these things, because somebody planted it. And right here in Alabama, those local farmers have done that. When you travel, you see these little trucks on the side of the street trying to sell their produce. These are little small farmers trying to sustain themselves. And when we can get partnering with the government, now they're gonna set up a trust fund that would make this happen. It's not just gonna, it's not gonna be just fly out of the sky stuff. It's gonna be well thought up. It's gonna be needful. You got to go through a process. But this is where government is giving back to those that giving that's producing. We don't want to outsource our food to no country. It's too important. You're talking about food security, and we'll be starved to death if we outsource this. So this time for the government to step up and do the things that helping the people that preserve the land, keep the air clean, keep the water productive. See, this is new, and it's always have been for the farmer, but the price have put us in a position where we can't sustain it anymore. So we need to partner with the government and other industries and other people that want to invest in our farmers, and that's the only sale I can give you.
Right. So my final
from,
question, Representative Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I was trying to give you like in third or fourth grade, so we could explain that. So we got to have the funding to make this stuff happen. If we lose this funding, farmers lose their land. We gonna lose food. We gonna lose a product. We gonna lose a livelihood. And I don't know what they ever would use that land for production again. But we know how AI is coming in, and high tech is doing all this stuff. Farmland is being bought up and sold for other reasons than producing products. So we want to make sure that we can maintain and sustain our farm. And this is the process to do that.
Sure. So does that mean then that there are some either state or federal policies that have made it impossible for farming to be profitable? Is that what we're really talking about here?
We are really talking about that because tariffs has really put a damper on farmers, especially not all over the nation. When you invest and think that your crop going to yield so many bushels of this, and then tariffs come in and people don't buy it, then what you do with it? I saw food rotting on the fields because we didn't have workers to gather it. That farmer lost everything. So sometimes we do stuff in Washington that hurts common people. So we just trying to sustain those people, keep them productive, keep the food change flowing, so we don't have to depend on nations to feed us when we can feed ourselves. We used to be the breadbasket of the world, America, but now we've lost it.
And I hear you say, you mentioned tariffs, but I think you also have implied that immigration policies may be having an impact on the farmer's ability to
be sustainable,
do the necessary reaping of the crops. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I think a big thing here too is, well, most people don't realize is in this day and age, because of the way the markets work and everything else, that farmers are on a pretty razor thin margin as it is. And a lot of it has to do with the way that we have allowed certain monopolies, whether it be the corporate farming or the corporate production of farming equipment, where there used to be 15 or 20 entities out there that would sell farming equipment. Now there are basically two. And they control the market. They drive up the price. They control everything from the time the thing is bought, from the thing where it's bought to how it's controlled. They can shut it off remotely. It's an insane world that farmers are living in and trying to traverse at this point. I'm sure you've talked to a lot of farmers in doing this and trying to put this together. Have they been supportive of this legislation?
Very much so. And see, what we're doing here, we're competing with other nations, not other farmers, because nations buy the equipment and supply everything that the other farmers need. Here in America,
Right.
farmers had to purchase that stuff. So, and when I went to the Ag Expo over in Moultrie, Georgia, that's when I learned the lesson that all these nations come in and they buy what they want to buy, because the nations the farmers will just pick out what they need, and the country pay for it.
Right.
In America, we got to pay for it, and we have to get the, I guess, the cheapest, or the things that we can't always afford as much less, so we can be productive. And then we found out the combines, hey, they cost $500,000, and when they break down, who fix them? You got to pay somebody to do that. So this mechanism that we're trying to do, which was set it up for when these things occur, that there will be a plan in place to assist those farmers to continue to be productive and not go under. That's what this bill would do.
Right. Let me final thing, and we'll get you out, because I know you got other things to do. You're handling committee days and going to the floor later as well. What have you at this point talked to the folks over at Alpha and told Parnell and those guys that, hey, these guys that y'all keep recommending for office, the guys that y'all keep backing and supporting, that's got the little R's out beside their names, aren't doing a damn thing for y'all, and the Democrats are doing everything for you, and their policies have got you in this state over here where you're losing farms left and right, and we're over here desperately trying to save you. So hey, how about tossing a little bit of those of that Alpha support our way?
Well, let me tell you, they like this. They think it's a great idea. Why didn't they think of it first? I mean, this is what. See, they so caught up in corporate and that with that little, like I said, little R around. So we got to reach across the aisle. We got to see the need, because people are all suffering, and because party's not gonna make it happen. We the people got to make it happen. And so that's what it's going to take. And this is a process, getting it started, getting the conversation going, so we can work out the little differences, fine tune it, tweak it, make it productive where people can be acceptable and let it go forward. And it can't happen.
Well, look, Representative Jack.
When we want things to work, we can make it work.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about that. When as going back to something you said earlier, when we needed the $1 billion prison that turned into a $2 billion prison, we somehow managed to make that work. So exactly. I'm sure we can do this if they decide they needed to. But listen, they may not tell you thank you over at Alpha for doing this, but I will say it here. Thank you for doing it. Yes. There are a lot of good farmers out here who I think are starting to see the light on some of these things and starting to realize that maybe some people they thought were their friends don't necessarily have their backs as much anymore, and that they need some new, better friends. And I think that you have proven yourself to be one. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for what you've been doing out there. And I know it's going to help an industry that is in desperate need of it.
Thank you. And people got to remember the first industry on this land was the farmer.
That's right. That is right. All righty. Well, Representative Jackson, we thank you so much for doing this. We're going to slide out. We'll come back in just a minute. It's Alabama Politics This Week. We're back in a minute.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless.